Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Have you ever felt like you were just not protected, like your business was not safe? I often feel this way, and that's why I'm so excited to have our next guest on the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Today, we have someone who, first of all, if there's a way to donate, y'all need to start donating some money right now because the information you're going to get today is priceless. We have someone who is a trademark attorney, okay? And her name is Auntie Donna. And we're going to talk more about her name, but let me tell you more about Auntie Donna. Donna is the founder of Always Resourceful LLC, where she empowers entrepreneurs to build, protect, and scale their businesses with intention and with legal confidence. So, with over 30 years of experience as a federal attorney, Donna has helped thousands of individuals, especially Black and Brown entrepreneurs, turn their ideas into real revenue generating assets. So, known affectionately as Auntie Donna, she brings a powerful mix of legal expertise, business savvy, and heart to everything she does. Today, we're going to talk to her about everything from trademarks to mentorship. And of course, we're going to always talk about how to make money. So, how to protect your business from day one, which is actually a radical act of self advocacy. Welcome, Auntie Donna.
Thank you. Hello.
So, I read your bio. What exactly do you do?
Well, thank you. I am actually, you said it perfectly. I am a federal trademark attorney. I'm also a business strategist, and I have just been blessed to have had so much experience really just working with corporations, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, in one case, a $3 billion aerospace company, and having a seat at the table and listening on how decisions are made. And so what I just do now is share that. I'm kind of the back office for the home team, right? You know, a lot of things that people might not know,
Yeah.
I share it with them in ways that are digestible and that they can turn and actionable so that they can turn and generate income for their families.
Well, I'm so happy to have access to you because, a lot of times we just don't have access to the right people. And I am truly grateful that God found you for me. So I'm just being
Amen.
selfish.
Amen.
But the name Auntie Donna, where did that come from?
Ah, well, that was a name given to me, to be really honest, very authentically, organically,
Mhm.
by people who I call myself pouring into people. I can't really help it. You know, I am in real life an attorney. I'm a auntie. I'm a mother, and so I think that I do kind of just pour into people. And if you have an idea and you ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you some words of wisdom, and you may not have heard them before. And so people who have known me as Attorney Donna Brown became kind of a little bit, like, enamored with it, and they were like, "Okay, T, I hear you. I didn't know that. I see, Auntie." And so in my, zealousness, wanting to make it a teachable moment, I said, "You understand that? That's a brand, okay? Somebody who's giving you information on how to grow your business. Now let's trademark that." So Auntie Donna Brown is registered as a federal trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office as an educator of entrepreneurs.
Oh, that was a big nugget right there. I mean, so many times I'm working in the community. I am part of the community, and we have all these ideas. Just had on one of the podcasts a woman, Stacy Gordon. She talked about creating this area called the Well, and it's like, what's to stop people from taking that information and using it for themselves? And even for me, like my name, Thelá Thatch. Who's to stop someone from saying don't do it? Okay, because I got Auntie Donna now. So, but I'm saying for those listening, doing like Thelá Thatch, one.org, Thelá Thatch. Like someone could take my name and make websites, right?
Mhm.
So how do I protect myself, or how do people protect themselves from that?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think, you have to act with intentionality. You have to be
Hmm.
very intentional. And so a lot of people don't realize that any name, whether it's Thelá Thatch or um, Mrs. HR, you know,
Hmm.
or can be, and if it's associated with your brand, it can be protected and it can be registered as a federal trademark. And so it could be your name, it could be
Yeah.
your slogan, it could be a color. Tiffany, a lot of people think of Tiffany the blue box. That blue box is
Mm.
not even on the color wheels anymore because they trademarked the box.
That
The red bottom shoes, that's a trademark. And sometimes it might be a sound. So anything that is associated authentically with your brand, then
mhm.
that's when you need to get together and build your team and start learning how to protect it's called intellectual property.
That is awesome. So now let's break it down even further. And the only reason I know this is because I've been doing my own research, but I want the audience to know. So, what can happen if you're trademarked, like let's say Tiffany, the special color blue
Hmm.
box, and
Hmm.
somebody else uses it?
Hmm.
What can happen if I use the blue box without
Oh,
permission?
you would be shut down immediately,
Yeah.
right? I think it really is an element of control.
Mm,
So the way it works is we have federal regulations that protect our citizens and our rights to create.
mhm.
And so if you have been fortunate enough to create something and it manifests in a way that people associate it with you, then we don't want to have other people confused.
Yeah. Now, people can also, you can make money, right? Like, let's say I'm I got a new shoe and I wanted to have red bottoms too.
Oh, well,
So then the red bottom, what's the name of the shoe? I forget.
Louis
Louis
Vuitton,
Vuitton.
yeah.
They could sell that used to me, right? Is that
Right.
how it works? Can you
Yes,
explain
that's a
that?
licensing potentially
Licensing.
opportunity if you get permission to use something that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of what you're saying, you're right. So once you have that identifier, then you register it.
Hmm.
And if someone else is using it, then you have the right to stop them.
Yeah.
And so you would send a cease and desist letter saying, wait, hold up,
Yeah.
stop. You are confusing my people
Yes.
and they might think that you are me. And so if you've made any money off of this, I know people know this to be my brand, then you
Mm-hmm.
owe me. So let's disgorge the profits that you've made and transfer right over here to this purse where
Mm.
the people thought it was going in the first place.
Got it. So, what are some of a few brand elements that entrepreneurs like myself forget to protect early on? Like, what are some of the things we should be doing right off the bat that you see?
That's a really good question. I think that being intentional. So being
Hmm.
intentional means a lot of people think, especially in this day and age, you can just come up with a name, go get a domain, and you have a business. Okay. Well, the first thing I really would like people to know is even if you have a domain, the domain company will sell you a name that maybe someone else has rights to.
Oh, I did not know that.
A lot of people don't. They think, well, since I got the domain, then I'm good.
Right, right,
No, not necessarily.
right.
Okay.
So, I could have a domain greenleaf.com,
Mhm.
but it belongs to the Greenleaf Company.
It could be. It could be.
How do you?
And
Yeah.
so now belong is a strong word
Okay.
because we don't really, in this country want to um restrict freedom of speech,
Okay.
but we do want to protect rights of ownership if you have associated certain speech with a certain brand.
Mm.
And so, no, you're 1,000% right. To the extent that you can get a green leaf domain doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you can make that into a brand. There are 45 different categories at the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and every category protects a different vision or view of a word. Okay. And so you really would have to have a do a search of all the names out there that are on the
Mhm.
internet, on the
Mhm.
social media list of providers, at the search of the Secretary of States across the country, a search of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, searches everywhere to see, has that name been used? And if
Mhm.
so, might someone have what we call a common law claim to say, well, wait a minute, that's
Mhm.
something I'm associating with my brand.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of process you should go through before you pick a name. And most people don't because they just say, this is a cool name. I'll
Right.
take it.
Right. Oh my goodness, that's kind of scary because you could be using a name that belongs to someone else, and unfortunate, and this is that part where you feel like the shoe's getting ready to fall off, or something terrible, doomsday. But you working in your business and you super successful. You're hoping in 10, 20 years you're making millions of dollars, and then you find out the name belongs to someone else.
Absolutely.
So what do you, can you do anything? Can you just say, "Oh, I didn't know"? Can you?
Well, no,
Yeah.
you really can't. In fact, not only can you not do that, people have tried to do
Yeah.
that, okay?
Yeah.
And they've not been able to come back and get the name. This is
Mhm.
why we have Prince, the artist
Yeah. Let's see.
formerly known as
Oh.
Prince, right? They're names that you once they are gone, you
Yeah.
won't be able to use them any more. And so it's important that you go ahead and assert your right up front. Now, towards
Mhm.
your point, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't be in fear, right?
Mhm.
So you're now getting educated as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. People
Yeah.
who come to Mrs. HR
Right. Right.
know that they have to do certain things about their business. Well, this is just part of the business.
Right. Right.
And this is part of managing your intellectual property, or from an accounting standpoint, they'll call it your goodwill, and make sure that you know and you affiliate with either a trademark attorney like myself,
Mhm.
or, there are lots of different agencies that will help people
Mhm.
walk through this process.
Love it. Love it. So, can we talk about Prince again? Do you know a little bit about why he had to change his name?
Prince, well, once you have, so there's trademark if you
Mhm.
have a name that's associated with you, right?
Mhm.
And then there is copyright also. We're hearing a lot about that with
Mhm.
things like Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
A
Okay.
depiction, something set in stone that's written about you, and
Yeah.
or a image about you, or music about you, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
These are all forms of intellectual property.
Mhm.
So when you have intellectual property that's been registered by the record label
Mhm.
as they create your persona,
Right.
and then you want to go on and move forward without that party who owns the registration, even if it's your God-given birth name, you
Mm.
cannot use it.
So that's what happened with Prince.
That's what happened. It's also happening right now with Mickey,
Oh,
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse was a copywritten
Okay.
item.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the copyright um, office had Mickey initially
Mhm.
as a little mouse,
Mhm.
and but they didn't call him Mickey Mouse. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
his name was Joe.
Okay. Yeah, he was bottled
Steam Joe Willie.
steam Joe Willie.
Uh-huh.
That's it. I remember. Woo,
Uh-huh.
he was
Uh-huh.
on the
Steam
train.
Jam.
Yeah, steam
And
Joe Willie.
so when
Yeah.
that expired, people could go back and
Mm.
use that image
Yeah.
because it's expired. But they couldn't also then call that image Mickey
Mickey Mouse.
Mouse because the trademark was filed and survived in perpetuity. So there's a whole strategy, and I know this can be a little bit
It can
confusing.
be. Sorry.
It can be a little confusing, but I do think that
Yeah.
if you have something, here's the
Mhm.
thing, in today's environment, people
Mhm.
don't want to just buy something from a company. They want to buy something from a brand that creates an experience.
Yeah.
To the extent you've been one of those people who have created an experience and memories and feelings and all that associated
Mhm.
with who you are positioning yourself to be in the market,
Yeah.
then you can protect that, so that if someone else comes and uses it, then
Right.
you can go to them and say, hey, that's
Yeah.
mine. Give me
Yeah.
that money. Cease and desist. You're confusing my clients, and please give me that
Yeah.
money back. And now, and some of my clients will say, cease
Mhm.
and desist.
Mhm.
However, we see what you're trying to do over there, and there might be a possibility for a relationship under our licensing agreement
Got it.
where you can then go back and pay this fee to use my intellectual property, and I'll give you the requirements and the criteria that you can use it and go back and now you're good.
That's a lot.
It's like, but you need it. So the bottom line is you need
But here's what
advice.
I was just getting ready to say. The bottom line is whether it's a lot or little, you have to do this to protect your company. And as a person who is out here, just especially trying to educate Black and Brown people, and this is where we fall short because we are not educated. Not all of us, but a lot of us are not educated on this, making sure you have a strong foundation. And then you just go out of business because someone sues you because you use their name.
I know. I know.
Have you ever had that? I've seen that happen.
Yes, I have. Because someone has not taken the time, they've
Yeah.
built a brand and
Mhm.
copycats are out there, right? You know,
Mhm.
they say, well, imitation is the biggest form of flattery you
Right.
can give a person. Well, not if you're not getting compensated.
Right. Right.
And so I think it's really important that even for solopreneurs who are out there and they just have a creative idea, they really need to invest in having a team, an advisor of some sort, a mentor of some
Mhm.
sort, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be a pay me now
Yeah.
or pay me later situation unless you go ahead and get the advice that you need.
In my business, this is what I struggle with. When I start talking about human resources, I start talking about employment law, all the things that we need, especially again as Black people,
Right.
to protect our businesses. People just gotta go to sleep. They are like, HR just goes whoop. It's
It
like
does.
I see the eyes. I promise you, I've been doing this 25 years. I see their eyes glaze over. They're thinking about what they're gonna eat for lunch.
Exactly.
And it is so hard to, it's kind of like trying to tell someone that they need to lose 100 pounds, like trying to get their attention and say, put that hot dog down. There's nothing good about that hot dog, right?
Right.
There's nothing good. The
Right.
bread's not good. The hot dog's not good. I promise you. And they're like, whatever, where's the mustard? Oh, mustard?
Yes.
But seriously, that's the hardest part about our profession, I think, in general, is it's not sexy.
Well,
How do we make it sexy? How about that? How can we make this sexy so people can pay attention?
so I think that anything that has to do
Mhm.
with a person's money,
Mm,
their finances, their bottom line can
mhm,
become sexy.
mhm.
You know?
That's right.
So, I always say people will fight you most about a woman, especially, right?
Yeah.
Her children, her money, and her men, and it might be in that order.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
But I do think it's really important that you realize
Mhm.
that your brand is, a story.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's who you've presented yourself to be out there. It's your reputation.
Right.
And so if you're intentional and you really understand that everything I say and do about my brand,
Yeah.
like if you have a LinkedIn page or if you have
Mhm.
social media, and if you ever invested in an ad to
Mhm.
promote your business, okay,
Mhm.
all these things are things that go into, oh, ABC company is the place to go for this.
Right.
ABC company is the place to go for this. Now you have the right to be kind of territorial.
Right.
And so it becomes very interesting, very much of interesting if you see
Yeah.
somebody promoting ABC company and it's not you
Right.
and it's driving traffic and money is going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I really just think that that is the key is understand that your brand is your persona, it's the story that you
Right.
tell, and to the extent that people understand it,
Yeah.
then they need to any money associated with that needs to flow to you.
We have an expression on the streets of New Jersey. People get shot for less
That's right.
because you trying to steal from me. People get hurt
Shot for lit.
for less. I'm not
Shot for
threatening
less.
nobody. I'm just saying
That
people.
resonates with me because my 27-year-old baby girl was born in New Jersey, so I
Oh, okay.
understand that very
Yes.
no, but that's real. That's
Yeah,
real
because you're
talk.
taking money out of my family's mouth. Well, let's talk about how you work with people. Now, you talk about mentorship. When you're mentoring people, are you talking about law? What does a mentorship
No. You
relationship
know,
look like? Uh-huh.
and so, while
Mhm.
I am an attorney,
Mhm.
my favorite thing to be is just a business advisor.
Okay.
Okay, to talk about your dreams, what you have going on, and how you can make it even bigger. My favorite compliment to receive is I had a client yesterday who was like, Auntie Donna, and this is a wonderful 64-year-old man who's doing big things,
Mhm.
who said, "Why is it when I sit next to you, those big things I thought I was doing don't seem as big as they used to be?" Because I like to challenge people to think even bigger, more exponentially. And so he works with me and we
Mhm.
work once a week. We get together, we talk about his strategic plans
Yeah.
and we talk about the vision that he has and the financial goals. And from there, I have a tailored program that kind of is a checklist of, is your brand secure? Is your brand
Mm.
scalable? Is your
Mhm.
brand ready to
Ooh.
be
Sign me up.
yeah,
Sign.
protected? Is your brand ready to be transferred from
Yeah.
the next generation to the next? Because as a woman of God, I think is really important. Your inheritance. You want to give an inheritance to not just your children, but your children's children. Well, what does that look like?
Right.
So we talk about all those things. And for some businesses, that involves incorporating family members
Mhm.
and seeing what gifts and talents they have and how they can help you in the next phase of your business.
Wow, I need you, Auntie Donna. We need you really bad. Now, when you talk about, so you're when you're talking about mentorship, you're kind of talking about coaching.
That is,
That's
that
the
is.
coaching.
It's a CEO one-on-one personal so you have to keep in mind,
Mhm.
before I became an attorney, first I was a banker,
Okay.
licensed banker for
Yeah.
about 10 years, and then after
Mhm.
that, I went in-house
Mhm.
for a mortgage company, a federal savings bank, and so in that context, I have been giving advice to people, first my clients in the
Mhm.
banking, and then to CEOs, and later in the regulatory context to major organizations as well. So everybody needs to have a team. And unfortunately, people who are black, brown, sometimes women in particular, we're solo.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
zero corporations that you know are a party of one. They
Right.
even
Right.
Oprah has a team, right?
Right.
They have a team.
Right.
And so I come in as part of the team that
Mhm.
helps you where you can bounce ideas off of and
Mhm.
really as a base of knowledge where you can ask questions and you don't have to feel stupid or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I want to do this. You literally sit there and tell me,
Yeah.
I ask you, what are your dreams?
Yeah.
Delay, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
What does it look like for you? And you tell me, and then I tell you how to get there.
I love it. I love it. I definitely, I recently, to get real personal, have been, doing my therapy journey.
Mhm.
And I had an interesting conversation with my therapist. And she's like, I'm not sure if you need therapy. You might just need an executive coach.
Yes, and that's a big thing though. Let me okay, you say that and you laugh,
I
but
know. I was like,
can I tell
yes,
you,
please
I've
tell.
had people come to me,
Mhm,
especially let's say
mhm,
you're in your late 40s and early
mhm.
50s in that area and you have done well, okay, in the executive ranks and essentially there's nowhere else for you to go. So you outgrow your job.
Mhm.
You outgrow your job. And I had one lady come and she said, my therapist told me I've outgrown my job, but I don't know
Yeah,
where to go.
yeah.
All I know is how to be a VP of this Fortune 500 company. And
Right,
we
right.
take it from there.
Yeah, that's another thing I've been working on too and talking about a lot. And I always like to share my journey is this limited thinking, this limited belief system. And it's really interesting because you don't know you're operating into it until you hit that wall. And it's like, oh, I've never been here before. And you
Exactly.
just hit a wall. And it's like, am I losing
Exactly.
my mind? Why am I not happy? Why am I having these weird dreams and visions about other stuff? But that's I truly believe God is trying to take you to that next level, your next level of
Wait.
purpose. And so talk about like how do we get past the wall in your opinion?
So I really feel like the
Mhm.
first step is coming here to watch you play.
Oh my
HR, as
goodness.
HR,
I
because
love it.
the reality is
Yeah.
that there's only so many moves
Mhm.
that you can make within a structured organization that's not your own. When it's
Mhm.
your own, you can always reframe, revise, and it can go in places that you now want to
Right.
grow. But
Right.
if you're in someone else's space, you really have to be respectful to that space. So I think you're 1,000% right. I think that when you get to a certain point in life, when you see yourself really, maybe a lot of times, maybe your kids are growing up,
Mhm.
you've done
Yeah.
some things you in your career and you really don't know what to do next,
Right.
then that's the time to start building your team. Start looking into what is Thelá like? What makes her happy? What is she
Mhm.
passionate
Yeah.
about? You know?
Yeah.
And from there, you get the right coach, executive coach or mentor. Maybe you already
Yeah.
know, like you already have a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I still need, I'm be confess, I need coaching because I have at least a dozen things going on. And every day I'm thinking, well, what's the most important thing? And then one of the coaches I work with or systems I work with, they ask the question, what do you love? And so every day I'm asking, I'm waking up, I'm like, well, do I even like this?
That's right.
Do I like this chair? Do I
That's right.
like this house?
That's right.
Do I like this color on the wall? Why am I sitting in a house with gray walls and I want my walls orange? Like,
That's right.
why don't I get some paint and paint them orange? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's stopping me from getting some paint and painting this wall orange? And sometimes we just get stuck. I know personally. I'm talking about
We
myself.
do. We do.
And success is just so like subjective.
It is, it is. It can feel
Mhm.
that way. It can feel that way,
Mhm.
but the reality is you know in your heart what makes you feel good. Now, the Bible
Mhm.
talks about, if you're gonna have peace that surpasses all understanding,
Mhm.
when you go to sleep at night,
Yes.
you knew you're
Yes.
doing that's when you're walking in your
Yes.
purpose.
Oh,
And
yes.
see, this is why I'm here because
Yes.
you're looking at a black woman over the
Mhm.
age of 40, okay, had some children,
Yes.
have disabilities with my eyes. I've have a lot of the things that say
Mhm.
that I shouldn't be here talking to you today, and
Mhm.
yet I am.
That's right.
And yet here I am. And so for me, I feel like my job is to reach out to those people who want to do
Mhm.
more than they feel like they're currently doing. I love it when you say, I have so many ideas. It just seems like I
Right.
don't know what to do, or I'm hitting my head against a brick wall. That's
Right.
exactly where I come in, Team Auntie, because I'm going to help you walk through that and talk through it. And how do you get it? You're going to go right through it. Sometimes it'll be
Wow.
over. Okay, sometimes it'll be around.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just stand on the side that you are, throw a rope, do a collaboration. They
Yes.
hold one side, you hold one side, and
Yes.
together we go off into the next,
Yes.
income level.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm excited. Wow. Well, I have to give a shout out to Cynthia Sperlin who connected us.
Yes.
And Cynthia, trust me, I didn't forget you. We're gonna try to get you on
Yay.
the show too. And Cynthia is a real estate attorney, right? She does tax and real estate tax.
She does strategy, right?
Hmm.
For a lot of business strategy with respect to companies.
Hmm.
She's building an empire.
Yeah.
Her empire is focused on black and brown
Okay.
doctors,
Yes.
MDs, people of
Yes.
color, dentists in particular. And
Hmm.
a lot of this, and that's particularly near and dear to my heart, Cynthia
Hmm.
knows, because my father was a
I
dentist.
didn't know that.
And it was back in the day when we didn't have mentorships. That's
Right.
another reason this is important to me. I'm not the first attorney in my family. I'm one of those
Mhm.
people who's fortunate enough to be second, third generation professional. So
Right.
we've had MDs, we've had JDs, so on and so forth. But not all of them were extremely successful. Cynthia's
Hmm.
helping the dentist of today be able to build
Nice.
those legacies of wealth. So I can't
I
wait
love
till she
that.
comes on
Yeah.
because she's got some
So
really
now
good
you have
stuff.
to come on, Cynthia. You
Yeah.
didn't even know you were coming.
Yeah, she'll be
Well, I
good.
just wanted to give her a shout out because if it wasn't for her and me meeting her, I wouldn't have met you. And
Amen.
I definitely want to give credit to just her kindness to say, "Oh, you need to meet Auntie Donna."
Oh, yes.
So
And by the way,
yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's lacking, right?
Hmm.
Because I
Hmm.
want you to know whatever it is that you do, that God purposed you to do, please don't be stingy with it. Share
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
because nobody can do it as well as you can.
Yeah.
I promise you, nobody.
Yeah.
And once you realize that,
Yeah.
then you and I can get together and talk about building the brand of you and why it is the case that nobody can do it like you.
Yeah.
And you're no longer hoarding information. You can
Right.
share a name, like Cynthia shared your name with me too, right? And you
Hmm.
can feel good about it because there's no threat. And that's what
Right.
we have to do.
And for the longest, I mean, I need to be more protected legally, but for the longest, I felt this covering, like, what's for me is for me that God
That's
can't
true.
take away.
Mm.
However, we also need to be wise.
That's true too.
And was wisdom, if God puts a trademark attorney in your life, clearly you need a trademark attorney, right?
That's true.
So
And
that's
God
like,
has a way of doing business, and that's beyond the scope of this particular interview. Maybe we'll talk about it another time. But God has a way that He has the model already set forth for
yes,
us.
yes. Oof. I love that because I was just sometimes I'm like, what am I doing today? Well, let's talk about some upcoming projects you have and like upcoming things that you're promoting, doing, excited about. I want to hear about every single one of them. So, what are you?
Ah, well, I'm really excited because I've always volunteered in the community.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm an educator. My sweet spot is teaching at community colleges, HBCUs, places where I think people are working overtime to be able to get seen and have exposure that maybe a more elite brand sometimes will automatically give you. And that's unfortunate, but it's a reality. And I like working with people in those spaces because I say when you come into teach entrepreneurship, you'll have a business plan that will make you millions. Okay. I teach business law. You will understand how to be your own CEO. You will know how to navigate the brand of you,
Love it.
right? And
Yes.
investments. We talk about investments not just from the traditional standpoint point of property. A lot of people may never be able to afford real property, especially if you're in LA, but
Yeah.
everyone can afford to invest in intellectual property. They just don't know how that revenue stream works.
I can't wait to learn from you.
Yeah, so all those things. So I teach
Yeah.
those things in the
Nice.
college, but I also
Yeah.
teach them in various organizations. So we have a new economic women's group in the Valley. I'll be teaching federal trademarks there. Yes, coming up, and that's a freebie. You can just
Okay.
follow me online.
Yeah.
Last year, I'm the past president for SCORE Los Angeles,
Yes.
where we did mentoring, and all of those resources are free.
Yeah.
I'm very well entrenched in the community for economic development. And so any given time you can see me at a board talking about something, you can see me giving a course. And
Mhm.
then my newest passion project is my We See Collective.
We see collective.
We women just empowered, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See Collective. These are women who are empowered to serve,
Nice.
right? And you want to educate others as part of your entrepreneurial journey. And so these are business owners who are entrepreneurs who have a vision they believe they got from God
Right.
and that they're trying to have an impact, a social impact as they move forward. And so we do those collectives 4 times a year. We meet, and it's a beautiful, beautiful network, especially if you don't have maybe a traditional sorority or fraternity or college network. This
Yeah.
is a group where you come to, you share information, and you
Mhm.
leverage each other's talent, skills, and resources.
Nice. And it's called the We See Collective.
Collective. Mhm.
And now, is there a membership fee or is it
It's a
a
subscription-based
subscription?
model. It's very affordable.
Yeah.
Again, hopefully you'll put a little link down
Yes,
and
we
and
see.
that's in
How do you find it?
so all of my things are on my website for
Okay. What's
alwaysresourceful.com, right? And
alwaysresourceful.com?
I always tell people if you forget who it is, remember it was Auntie Donna Brown, Auntie Donna, Donna Brown, and you can Google it. And that's one of the things
Yes.
we talked about
Yeah,
that.
it's like Google me. I was
Yes.
like, all right, boss.
But
And when I Googled you, I mean, the AI knew who you were, which is, that's a big deal, honestly. I mean, to be able to just come up and to just say, oh, Auntie Donna is a leader. And so, yes, I did Google you.
yeah, but that's part of branding.
Yeah,
You
Google
okay?
me.
So to the
Google
extent
me too.
yes, yes. You should all be able to Google
If you can't
branding.
find yourself on Google, and maybe I'm stepping out too far to say this, that should be your mission. Like people should be able to
Yes.
Google you
They should be able to Google
and
you and get
find
some
you.
key things that you stand for.
Yes.
And in my cases, it's going to be entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
empowerment. You might hear of me doing a podcast. I do have one that talks about faith,
Yeah.
family, finance, right?
What's the name of the podcast?
It's just Auntie Donna Brown. Auntie Donna Brown. You can find it on all the major Apple, all of the major places. And
Mhm.
I just really just talk about, just the journey through life, I think is just so
Yeah.
fascinating because everywhere you go, there's an opportunity to learn, to improve yourself, but leave your mark wherever you go. Leave your mark in this world.
I love that. I think about that dash between the time we were born and the day that we were going to leave this earth. And
Oh,
I
yes.
try not to get anxious about it. But when people are like, Thelá, why are you doing, Dr. Thelá, why are you doing so much? I'm like, you know what? I want to say I lived it all out. Like I didn't leave anything on the table. I wrote books, I taught, I, but now I'm at a place where I need to brand those things. I need to like,
That's right.
what's the word? Solidify it in a way. So for my children and their children,
That's right.
so they can own it. Because what happens if I die and they're like somebody else takes over? It doesn't even go to my children.
No, it doesn't.
It'll go
Or
to
if, God
somebody or
forbid, you're
somebody.
remarried, right? You
Yeah,
can go
somebody
to
else
your,
takes everything I did, including my books, my
but that's not
work.
going to happen to you because
It's
I
not.
got
Well,
you.
that's why God sent Auntie Donna.
That's what I got. And that's how God
Thank you
works.
so
So
much.
you're welcome. But thank you because
I'm
one
so
of the
grateful.
things I loved about you is when we first met and Cynthia connected us, we talked a little bit about what we were going to do, but you closed that meeting. You remember how you closed that meeting?
Probably absolutely not.
A prayer.
Oh, I did.
You prayed.
I did.
You said, we're going to pray. And so, you know what? I just pray for your audience that they are going to receive everything that God has for them.
Yes.
And I know you pray that for them too. You put the resources out there. Now I'm just another one, part of your family
Yes.
and your extended network. And now, the sky's the limit.
Oh, wow. Well, wow. What a perfect way to kind of wrap up. You are such a oh my goodness, the best word to say, addictive personality. It's like, okay, I need to get to work. I need to contact Auntie Donna. I need to write down all the things that need to be trademarked, all the things that cause me to stay up at night, because literally I do. I'm like, well, the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. What happens if we think about that all the time, especially as we get older. So I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you stepping out on faith and doing this podcast with me, to talk about all our different collaborations. And so, what's the last maybe word you want to give to our audience before we wrap up?
Nobody can, and you have to see. My We See Collective was based on a time where there was a group of women who were all probably late 40s, early 50s, and we were going through a time where we had invested in our kids, our marriages, our jobs, and all these different things, but we never invested in us.
Right.
And so we took a time together and we had several weeks and we turned off the television. Okay. We put some boards up. We had some scripture every week and we just read, we prayed, and we worked. We wrote notes. Okay. And we were able to see some things that we couldn't see in all the noise. So what tell you is you are made for a purpose as well. You might not be able to see it because the noise is clouding it out, right? Take some time for yourself so that you can see very clearly the purpose that God has for you and the resources that He's put right in front of you.
You know what? If by this episode, I should have one of those buttons that says, click here to send money, because this was the money episode. You just got at least a few $1,000s worth of free counseling and coaching and mentoring today. I know I did, because look, shut off the TV, cut out the noise, brand yourself, maintain a leg. What more do y'all want? I don't know what else. I'm done. So I'm done. I'm done giving y'all free stuff. Okay. So with that, thank you again. Thank you, Auntie Donna. If they don't find you, then that's on them. That's what I got to say to that.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for, if you're watching, you know where I'm coming from. You have been given the resources. I've been given the resources. Continue to watch the Ask Mrs. HR podcast, where we talk about humans and resources. Make sure you subscribe, go get your life. Get your life. This is your time to get your life straight. I'm about to get my life straight. And I'll see you next time on the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Bye.